It's Thanksgiving, and you're spending it alone, again. Tired of being by yourself in a world where everyone seems to have somebody to support their every decision, but you don't, so you go through life day in and day out trying to figure out what it is you're missing, only to realize that therapy isn't helping in the way you thought it would? Now you're reaching out to friends who all seemingly have their life together, constantly trying to reconnect with failed romantic relationships that you think will definitely help with whatever's going on up there, and spending way too much time making an online entertainment business news show that no one watches, but all your friends say they do, even though you easily have access to YouTube analytics, which means they're only watching the Instagram posts of the cold opens like this one, which are not the full episodes that can be found on youtube.com/C+comedy. Plus, you do a companion podcast that does marginally better than the online show, but not by much, and you get to interview some of your favorite comedic heroes, which again, your friends say they read, but again, they don't. Now you're relegated to continue pushing yourself through every tormenting part of whatever you call this life, because maybe, just maybe, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and all of this will not be a waste of time. You should get a life, created by your God.
It's news time. Delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White.
Welcome back to News Time. I'm your host, Chad White, and this is the targeted news you didn't know about. It didn't say Target. Not sponsored by Target. I won't sell out. This Thanksgiving TV season is one for the books. It's the first year in a long time where there are very little to no fall premieres. Law & Order SVU is doing episodes about police shootings, racism, pandemics, and oppression, while characters on The Goldbergs lean in for the kiss, but revert to giving hugs at the very last second. That's how I kiss. These last two references were for a handful of people still watching shows week to week. You know, your mother and me. And no, that's not the title of Mike Pence's auto-robo biography. And yes, I said auto-robo biography. One thing you don't get from those shows, if you watch them via the original broadcast, is targeted ads. And one thing you don't get from this show is clean segues. Targeted ads are just as they sound. Advertisers focus specific brands to you, the consumer, based on the things you look at online. Usually, we only get them online, but with the advent of smart TVs, digitally based pay TV models, ad-supported streaming services, and the like, on top of all of that being harvested because no one reads term agreements, our interests are ripe for being pointed right back into our direction. Techniques like this have been used for years now. Futurama joked about it back in the early 2000s.
Good morning, class. I trust you've all prepared for today's final exam.
Excuse me, I missed a few lectures. What subject is this?
Ancient Egyptian algebra.
Oh, what a nightmare!
Mr. Fry, are those your underpants? Young man, I think it's time you learned a lesson about Lightspeed brand briefs.
Lightspeed fits today's active lifestyle, whether you're on the job or having fun. Lightspeed briefs. Style and comfort for the discriminating crotch.
Oh, what a weird dream. That's awful. It's like brainwashing.
Didn't you have ads in the 20th century?
Well, sure, but not in our dreams. Only on TV and radio. And in magazines. And movies. And at ball games. And on buses. And milk cartons. And T-shirts. And bananas. And written on the sky. But not in dreams. No siree.
I had a dream like that once, except it wasn't in a college classroom, and it wasn't a dream, and that's the story of how I'm not allowed within 100 yards of schools teaching children grades K through 12. I regret that. Ad targeting isn't as specific all the time as it appears to be. Angie Tribeca and Saturday Night Live both have participated in mid-show advertising. If this sounds familiar, it's because I did an episode covering the exact same topic in 2017 with Steven Soderbergh's attempt at attracting a big audience for his movie Logan Lucky. The oft-retiring director didn't go the traditional route of securing backing from a big distributor like Sony or Warner Media. He raised the funds himself and got his A-list actors to work for cheap. Then he approached theaters personally, asking them to show his movie. He advertised heavily in the South, where NASCAR is huge. Additionally, advertisers typically spend billions of dollars at television upfronts just to have their ads featured on broadcast and cable shows. Networks love this, so they often futz with the episode breaks, breaking more often and adding an extended commercial time just to squeeze out more ads. Sped up shows that have been re-edited to feature in-show ads for the latest movies. It's all been done. And if that sounds familiar, it's because I did another freaking episode just 3 months later covering the very idea. I've done many episodes in advertising, and I understand the irony here, but please go watch those episodes because they are good and I love you. What we fear online is coming true on our big black boxes. Targeted ads, I love that one. Targeted ads are on their way to television, and it's going to be noticeable. The Nielsen rating system is set to use a new tool next year that will measure each ad individually instead of as a whole. This will make TV commercials much more valuable and possibly help both networks and brands fight back as they continually lose viewers to streaming platforms. AT&T companies DirecTV and Dish plus smart TV maker Vizio are the first clients of the system, which will give Nielsen access to 55 million connected devices when it launches the tool. Of course, this will be slow to implement because it's expensive, but the fact that we can do it is concerning enough. I don't want to be watching Superstore only to get a commercial for wet socks. They're useless. Damn it, that's the tagline. I'm already corrupted. Long pause because I put a big pause here. And okay, some ads might fare better than others. However, think about what happens during the political season. Watching CBS this morning alone, I saw attack ad after attack ad from the Democrats and Republicans. It'll be all red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. It was like playing Halo Combat Evolved, except I wasn't high in my buddy's dorm room at Ohio State, and also I'm not old enough for that joke to work. Here in Georgia, there's a runoff Senate race in January. The commercials keep coming. It's as if November 17th never happened. What's that? We vote on November 7th? Then what was I doing in that middle school gym? And why did that guy take my license? And who was he? I risked everything for that. They pushed it to 200 yards. In November and December, ad spending for the races are projected to be $34 million each. The runoff election in its entirety is set to rake in at least $1 billion for local networks. Do you know how much that is? Oh, right. We can avoid ads in real life. They're easily blocked online. Why should we have to suffer through them as we do the most leisurely American thing possible, that is watching TV? They'll be unobtrusive at first, but this is like a toppling Jenga tower. It's going to keep falling until all the blocks are down. The blocks represent our heads. I think that's how an analogy works. While I try to figure this out, why don't you subscribe and check out one of our other videos? Of course, you can head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where there are so many interviews with your favorite comedians that you'll go, wow, he's pretty good at this. Why is he not being noticed? You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at cpluscomedy. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ChadBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. Listen to the Constitutionals podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And, oh, I think I figured out how an analogy works. I'm not going to tell you.